Welcome to this explainer. Today we are tackling a truly massive topic, how immigration has fundamentally shaped the United States as it gears up for a huge milestone, its 250th birthday. But we're not starting off with a history book. We're actually going to use a pretty surprising dynamic entry point to unpack all of this, the 2026 World Cup. So what does a 104-match soccer tournament actually tell us about a nation turning 250? Well, let's dive right into that. In 2026, North America is going to transform into the world's largest football stage. But if we look closely at the incredible diversity down on the field, specifically looking at the U.S. men's national soccer team, we find this living, breathing reflection of the nation itself.
Section 1. The World Cup Microcosm.
Just think about the sheer global footprint of this one single team. Take Christian Pulisic, Captain America himself. He could have easily used his grandfather's Croatian passport to play in Europe, but he chose the U.S. Or Yunus Musa, right? Born to Ghanaian parents, raised in Italy and England. The guy literally had 4 national teams to choose from. And Fuller and Balogun's story is just wild. Nigerian parents, born in Brooklyn basically because his pregnant mother couldn't board a flight, raised in London, he, along with players like Timothy Weah and Jesus Ferreira, deliberately chose to wear the stars and stripes, even though they had multiple, highly attractive global options on the table.
And that choice brilliantly highlights the sentiment driving these athletes. Take Ricardo Pepi, for example. He's a second-generation Mexican-American from the border city of El Paso, and he was fiercely recruited by both the U.S. and Mexico. But his decision to play for the U.S. represents this whole new generation of Americans. They're people who embrace multiple cultural identities, for sure, yet they feel this profound loyalty to the country that gave their families a shot. As he put it perfectly, I was born and raised here. The United States has given me and my family countless opportunities, and I want to win honor for this country.
Moving on to Section 2, 250 Years of Immigration.
So, here is the crucial point. This diversity isn't just playing out on a soccer pitch. Today, roughly 50 million Americans were actually born overseas. To put that into perspective, that's about 15% of the total U.S. population. We're talking about a record high in nearly a century.
Now, those 50 million individuals didn't just appear out of thin air. They arrive every single day, quite literally with a suitcase and a dream, coming from top source countries like Mexico, India, China, the Philippines, El Salvador, Vietnam, Cuba, the Dominican Republic, and South Korea. And they feed directly into this incredibly vibrant nation of 340 million people, powering an absolutely massive $30 trillion economy.
Because, America has always been this world melting pot. This is definitely not a new phenomenon. Back in the 19th century, Irish, German, and Chinese immigrants literally built the nation's infrastructure, the canals, the transcontinental railroad, often with immense personal sacrifice. Fast forward to the 20th century, and you have European scientists fleeing war, driving unbelievable advancements in medicine and the atomic age. And today, in the 21st century, global talent, particularly from places like India and China, is leading the charge in artificial intelligence and biotech innovation.
Which brings us to Section 3, the engine of innovation.
So why does the U.S. keep attracting this immense global talent pool, year after year, century after century? It's so easy to assume a country's power comes from stuff in the ground, right? But walk into any Silicon Valley boardroom or university lab and you'll realize America's true resource isn't oil or gold. It's the systems, the markets, and the education that attract the world's best. The long-term competitiveness comes entirely from social mechanisms that encourage innovation, protect intellectual property, and crucially, allow people to recover and try again when they fail.
These are the real institutional pillars of the country. You've got these incredibly active venture capital hubs in places like Silicon Valley, New York, and Boston. You have top-ranked global universities driving breakthroughs in AI, semiconductors, and biomedicine. Plus, there's that fierce protection of intellectual property and free markets. And because of these pillars, immigrants or their kids have founded a staggering portion of Fortune 500 companies. We're talking about the driving forces behind absolute giants like Google, Tesla, and NVIDIA.
Now let's pivot to Section 4, Navigating America's Challenges.
Because, let's be honest, this 250-year journey has never been entirely smooth sailing, and it certainly isn't today. Right now, the nation is actively searching for a new balance. It's navigating some deeply complex tensions, constantly weighing that historical desire for openness and global responsibility right up against the very real demands for border security and domestic priorities. It's an incredibly tough balancing act.
And there is very real economic anxiety out there today. You have the decline of the Rust Belt, the intense pressures of illegal immigration, the devastating fentanyl crisis, and on top of that, the immediate fear of job disruption from AI and tech layoffs. In response to these massive challenges of globalization, we see political movements like Make America Great Again gaining immense influence by strongly emphasizing industrial repatriation and border security.
Yet there's a vital takeaway here. Resilience is defined as the ability of the U.S. system to allow for dissenting voices and constantly correct its mistakes, rather than never making them. Whether facing the Great Depression in the past or AI tech layoffs today, the nation's greatest institutional advantage isn't that it's flawless. It's that historical ability to let people voice their dissent and actually course correct during a crisis.
And that leads us into our final section, Part 5, Redefining the American Dream.
Let's zoom back in from all those massive macro forces down to the deeply personal scale of the everyday immigrant experience. Because, at the end of the day, the American dream isn't always about starting a tech company and becoming a billionaire. For the vast majority of ordinary people, it's about achieving what we might call the 5 blessings. Number 1, a house where the lights are on when you get home. 2, a reliable car for family trips. 3, healthy children who actually have choices in life. 4, a lifelong partner, and 5, the financial peace of mind to just not worry about tomorrow.
It's these everyday, hard-won victories that continually expand the definition of that famous phrase, "we the people." It's not just some dusty historical declaration from 1776. It's a dynamic, living goal that's expanded over 250 years to include everyone who strives, lives earnestly, and builds a life here. It proves that ordinary people, just working hard and raising their families, are the true authors of American history.
There's a profound reflection that I think perfectly captures this journey. It goes, true success isn't about how much wealth you possess, but about being able to look back one day and smile at the younger version of myself who arrived in America with a suitcase full of trepidation and say, thank you for not giving up. I mean, wow. That acknowledges all the turbulence we've discussed while still deeply cherishing the freedom to simply try.
So, at 250 years old, will America continue to have the courage to innovate, remain open-minded, and attract the dreams of the world? As the fireworks get ready to light up the sky for the 250th anniversary, and as fans from all over the globe pack the stadiums for the World Cup, I'm going to leave you with that question to chew on. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep questioning and keep learning.